Um, Once again, I'm delighted to welcome the Cabinet Secretary for Justice for the Scottish Government, Humza Yousaf. Thank you so much for joining me once again.
Real pleasure.
Thank you. Humza, we have launching Scotland Against Modern Slavery. A number of Scottish businesses with bases and I suppose their hearts in Scotland and the business community in Scotland have already signed up and joined. And the formation of SAMS is based around the commitment of businesses to work with the Scottish Government to eradicate the misery caused by human trafficking and modern slavery. I really want to know, or I suppose people want to know, what does this mean to you?
Well, look, first of all, thanks, Shan, for the opportunity to speak to you again. Thank you for all the work that you've done in relation to Scotland against modern slavery. I know it's not your, you don't look to promote yourself in any way, shape, or form. I know how passionate you've been about the subject, but let me pay credit to you for the work that you've done personally on all of this.
Thank you.
Look, for me, it's interesting as Cabinet Secretary for Justice, I talk about modern slavery. I suspect you get the same experience here when you talk about it. People say, oh, it sounds really interesting. So what country are you talking about when it's modern slavery? And I have to tell them, right here in Scotland, we are facing the problem of modern slavery and human trafficking and exploitation of people. And I think that's the key message we want to get, that we know that the vast, overwhelming majority of businesses are absolutely supportive of what the government's trying to do, what Scotland Against Modern Slavery is trying to do, but they also have a role to play. You might not realize it, but through your supply chains, through other businesses that you subcontract out to, for example, you've got to be aware of the signs of modern slavery because all of us find it abhorrent. So we've all got a role to play, not just government, not just business, but actually together we've got a role to play in tackling this, stamping it out and eradicating it from Scotland. So that the next time somebody asks me about modern slavery, I can say, actually, we're not dealing with it in Scotland because we've eradicated it and we can move on. But I can't do that alone. And we need excellent forums like Scotland Against Modern Slavery to help us to do that.
Well, that's a powerful message, and you're taking you're taking people's knowledge and understanding of it. And this is something that I've been very close to the ground about. Is that it's a people don't know that it exists. I'm not saying this as a general statement, but the more publicity it receives, they realise that it's happening. It's happening here in Scotland. It's happening in the UK. It's happening
Yeah.
globally, and we all have our part to play. So you're absolutely right. It's a supportive forum. It's here to Scotland Against Modern Slavery is to support those businesses and help guide them through what can be quite a difficult, challenging topic and subject. But knowing that we've got the support of the Scottish Government and yourself is very, very, I suppose, enlightening. It makes me feel quite energised by all of this. We're not looking, and I would say that we, as an organisation, there's a movement, Scotland Against Monsters. We're not looking for a lot of time or any money from any business. What we're looking for is what I would say is an ambassador, somebody in that business who's a leader or can influence the leadership team in their business that can spend a little bit of time, 3 hours a quarter, I would say, 1 hour a month, to listen and share good practice, listen to what people have to say, and spend once a quarter, hopefully, Hamza, you'll be involved as well in chairing
Yeah.
a quarterly meeting on that. So a little bit of time and a lot of passion is what we need. And it's just about working with you. So can you tell me, what would you expect from us then? What do you want from members, from organisations?
Do you know the key phrase I think you used there was this is going to be a supportive forum. We know how much business has got to deal with at the moment. Blooming heck, even in the midst of a global pandemic, there's a lot of pressure, a lot of burden. Unfortunately, a number of companies, if not most companies, have had to furlough staff. Really challenging time. We're not here to add to your pressure. What we want you to do is have that safe space, a supportive space where you can gain knowledge, gain insight, and yes, raise concerns. If you think, actually, is that a bit of a red flag? That company that we're working with, the workers all seem to come in one van, their lunch is brought for them, they don't look the happiest at their working conditions. Is that something maybe I should raise? Can others tell me if they have that same experience? And that's what it is. It's a supportive forum. We're not there to burden you or put pressure or even more expectations upon you because there's a joint endeavour. If you can help us to eradicate this, then the whole of society wins. And yep, you're absolutely right, Shan. I'm keen to get involved. Government's keen to get involved. Yes, we'll have those quarterly meetings. And so if you ever need information, we're there to help and support you in terms of your business. And yep, that's what we want. We want an ambassador. We want somebody who can give us a little bit of time. That's all it has to be. You've articulated it perfectly. A little bit of time, but a lot of passion for this. And what we'll do is we'll empower them. We'll have a supportive structure around them, and they'll have access to government, which of course we can help and assist them as well. So this is a real collaboration between government and business. And look, any role you can play in that, I would encourage you, I would implore you, in fact, to join Scotland Against Modern Slavery. And I think there'll be a big benefit for your business for doing so.
There's a lot going on in the world. You've just touched on this about the pandemic and what we're living through just now, and I think that's going to have a lot have an impact on what we see coming out of this topic that we're talking about just now, and through this actually, Humza, through this, I've had conversations with businesses that have had there's a direct correlation with regards to the COVID pandemic and some of their compliance related issues. People just haven't been on their sites, and we're foreseeing that there'll be a spike or an increase in what we've seen with regards to modern slavery in Scotland. And when the stats come out, I'll keep a close eye on that. I'm sure you will be even closer to that to me. Now, you've mentioned this affects at the start, it affects every business, and it's a really, really key thing. And this is what's driving me, because I know that in the role that I play in my day job, I feel like that I'm talking to businesses, and we're involved in many different companies across Scotland, is getting them to join and getting to be part of it or raising awareness. In any conversation I've had with you, Humza, you've come across really genuinely passionate about this. It seems to me that it's far more than politics, and I have to be really blunt about that. It seems that this carries far more weight than politics as Cabinet Secretary. Can you confirm that to me? I mean, it's just a quite a loaded question, I must say, but is that something that you would agree with?
Yeah, entirely. And look, I don't think I'm alone in this. I speak to my parliamentary colleagues from different colours and different stripes. We differ on just about every other issue, but on this one, there's a joint understanding and a consensus, which is very rare in politics, as you know, but a real consensus around the fact that this is just abhorrent. Like, we cannot stand to be in a Scotland where modern slavery goes unchallenged. That just is unacceptable to all of us. So it doesn't matter whether you're SNP, Labour, Conservative, Green, Lib Dem, we all have a shared endeavour. And look, I used to have a previous ministerial role when I was the Minister for External Development, and I would travel to a number of countries all over the world. And I remember one visit to the Gulf in the Middle East where I saw that modern slavery. You could see it in the street in front of you, where you could see the construction workers and the system that was known as kafala back then, effectively a form of slavery, no shadow of a doubt about it. And I remember really challenging the government ministers I was meeting at the time, and I wasn't getting very far with the responses. And then to come home and to find out that actually we had maybe not quite the same system, but a system of modern slavery under our nose on our doorstep, to me, well, I was like, no, this is something that I've got to work passionately alongside others to eradicate. I don't want to live in a Scotland where there's a single person being forced into slavery, being exploited. And that's something that I'm going to commit to work. Whether I'm in politics or whether I'm out with politics, I'm going to commit to eradicate that from our society.
Wow. There you have it. I suppose it's rises above politics for you. It's passion, and your story is so clear, and your passion is so clear. Cabinet Secretary for Justice, thank you so much for taking your time to speak to me today. I know how busy you must be, so it's truly honoured to have you on and on board and support this so strongly. Any business that's interested, that's listened to this message, please, you can contact me or contact somebody in the Scotland Against Modern Slavery team. Visit the website, scotlandagainstmodernslavery.co.uk. You'll get more information there. You'll also see some of the initial partners that have joined within Scotland's food and drink manufacturing industry and construction industry as well. So these are at-risk areas as well, the more that you learn about it. So thank you so much for joining me today. Humza Yousaf, Cabinet Secretary for Justice.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all the work that you're doing. And just to echo, please join Scotland Against Modern Slavery.
Thank you.